was a one border that I was going to. It might have been the Cote d'Ivoire border. Man, I had such a bad time. That was the worst border. It just, I hadn't really experienced a ton of corruption or hard corruption at the
Mm-hmm.
borders.
Right.
Just like simple things like I'm at the desk and before the woman stamps my passport, she's like, "That's $15," and you're like, "No, it's not. It's not $15. No." And then she'll sit there for like 5 minutes and look at you.
Yeah.
And you just have to stare down, and then she'll just stamp it very angrily and very angry, and then just give it back to you, give your passport back to you. That's kind of the extent of the corruption that I've actually experienced. It hasn't been that bad until I got to Cote d'Ivoire. Is it the Cote d'Ivoire? I think it was Cote d'Ivoire. The guy brings me to the office, and he's like, he's going through all my documents. He's filling everything out. He's doing everything he needs to do. And I can see him going through it. He's putting stamps on, boom, boom, boom. Okay. I'm like, all right, this is going very well. then he's like, oh, it's $50 or something. And
Whoa.
I'm like, for what? He's just like, for the documents. And it was just like, well, I already paid for this stuff. Some of this stuff I already paid for. And I paid for it at the embassy. And it's always good to keep a receipt because then you can be like, you could hold the receipt up and you're like, listen, I paid for it. And he's like, no, but you didn't pay me. And I was like, okay. And I was like, well, I don't have that. So, and then he looks at me, he's just like, you're American, right? I was like, yeah. And he's just like, you have US dollars. I was just like, little do you know, I've run out. So,
Can I show you my bike outside?
Yeah. I've been on the road for 2 years, man, and I've literally run out of US dollars. I have no more US dollars. He's like, he says to me, he's like, yeah, but you can get US dollars. You can go to the bank and get US dollars. I was like, not that easy, man. It's not that easy. And then he looks at me, and then he says to me, he's like, you have to pay. Now his voice is getting, and he's starting to demand. And I had a calm voice. I just like, I don't have US dollars, man. And then he gets pissed and he just throws my documents across the table. And then I think, I had some of the local currency. I had like maybe $15 or $20 of the local currency, but he wanted US dollars. He didn't want the local currency. He wanted US dollars. So he was telling me to go and exchange the money that I had to go get US dollars. I'm like, I'm not doing that. Like, why would I do that?
Right.
So, and actually, you know what? I didn't show him that I had that currency. I knew I had it in my pocket. I had about $10 to $15 worth of the currency in my pocket, and I didn't tell him that I had that. But he was like, I told him, I was like, oh, I don't have it. So he's like, yeah, you can go and exchange money and da da da. You can go get it, and I was like, I don't have it. Then he brings me outside, and then goes and sits in the chair because there's like 4 or 5 officers that are just sitting in the chair. He just goes out. He goes outside, brings me out there, and he just sits in the chair. And then and then they start talking in French. Obviously I don't know what they're saying. So I was like, all right, well, I guess we're just gonna sit here. So I had a mango and I just sat on the bike and I faced all the officers and I just started peeling the mango and eating it in front of them. And I'm just like, it's like, all right, well, I have all day, so I could be here overnight if you want me to. I don't care.
Right.
I don't have this money you're asking me for, so yeah. And then eventually, one of the guy gets up, goes in the office, gets my documents, hands it to me, and just says, "Go." That was after I was there for about 3 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, I was there for about 3 hours. I sat, like, everything happened in about an hour and a half, and then I sat and waited for them to make a decision for another hour and a half. Yeah.
Right, because usually people probably eventually gets annoyed or whatever and just kind of give in.
Right, exactly. Because if you're not used to this kind of stuff, you're like, you just give them the money. It's like, oh yeah, fine, I have it here. Here's the money. Let me go.
It's like, dude, I've been to like 50 countries already.
Yeah. This is not my first rodeo, man. And also, like, I was on a budget.
Yeah.
So I didn't. technically I had the money, but I just like I don't have it to just give to you.
Right,
You
right,
know,
right.
like I actually need this money. So like you know, like it was actually this. I think the situation was if I had given him the cash that I had on me, I wouldn't have money for fuel for the next country
Right,
because
right.
there were no ATMs between the border and the next big city. So
Wow.
I had no cash. So I would if I'd given that to him, I wouldn't have any money.
Yeah, yeah.
So
You'll be down the road trying to you figure out how you're gonna get someone else out their money.
right, yeah. Um, and I think after that, went what? Oh, Guinea. Ah, that border was Guinea. Sorry, that
Yeah.
border was Guinea.
Okay,
Not gonna
okay.
lie, it was Guinea. It was Guinea. Now that I think about it, Guinea was cool. The thing is, like, once you cross the borders, like everyone's nice, everyone's
Yeah,
cool,
yeah.
but the borders itself are just they're just a pain in the ass.
Gosh.
They're just a
So
pain.